jobs, I think, is a big thing. Economic development and jobs. Now, obviously, I don't think government goes around creating jobs, but we can create somewhat of an environment where we get out of people's way and we have some tools in there. Not really where you're giving somebody something, but you're getting out of their way and leaving a few tools to where people can realize their economic dreams by just having an atmosphere where it makes that possible. I think we talked about already cutting spending, better fiscal policies. I don't believe in cutting spending just across the board, a certain percentage. I think that's lazy. I think it's intellectually lazy. But you got to get in there, and again, Gilbert does a great job of this, where they zero out the budget every year and just say, show us why you should get so much. Because otherwise you're saying, even with sequester, which I supported, but at the same time, it's intellectually lazy somewhat, because you're just saying, I'm just going to cut this much off of everything like it's the same thing. CPS shouldn't have that same amount cut as other places where there's fat. And then that financial accountability, again, in the school systems. Again, I'm not sure about an edict from the state, but making sure that the educational systems are spending their money wisely and on the correct things. I've heard it's been tried a million times, and it's not going to happen. The fact that we have as many school districts as we do is one of the problems, because you have hundreds of districts, hundreds of superintendents, hundreds of district buildings, but there's definitely efficiencies that they can find, whether it be, sharing maintenance or sharing, lawn cutting abilities. Some of our parks, I had asked our city, a couple years in, I was like, well, why do we have all these parks employees? Well, they cut the grass, they do that. I go, well, why can't a private company do that? And, well, it's a specialized. I'm like, really? It's a specialized grass? So we did pare that down when we did the, reduce the jobs. They still have, quite a few that, cut the baseball diamonds and things. But there's those areas where you can cut, and you don't have to have an employee who works for the school or who works for the state, because when they do the comparisons, they compare how much that employee cost them right then versus how much the contract is from a private landscaper. Unfortunately, what they don't do is the benefits down the road, the pension and all those things that have that building cost of having more and more employees. And the private company doesn't have a union that's negotiating for them at every ounce along the way, that's driving the costs up more and more as well. So those things, mainly, I'm not going to, there's things I'll obviously get engaged in, but I believe my forte is business and economic development. I'm very passionate also, though, about reforming CPS, child abuse, human trafficking, these kinds of things. As a conservative, I'm miffed that conservatives aren't more involved in these issues. To me, this is their wheelhouse. Not saying anything bad about Democrats. They obviously care a lot about it also, but I'm miffed that conservatives shy away from this so much. To me, this is law and order. This isn't. Too many conservatives somehow confuse CPS, maybe it's because it's in the same department, it was until they separated, with welfare and that kind of thing. And it's taboo. They're afraid to talk about it. My wife was running, along with J.D. Mesnard, a bill about sexual abuse this year, and about helping kids and parents realize the signs of sexual abuse. And the fact that it had the word sex and sexual just freaked a lot of people out. It's gotten through the House, I think unanimous vote. It's gotten through the Senate Education Committee, unanimous vote, but now I hear it's being held up because of the word sex. To to me, that's not real courageous. Yeah, I don't want teachers teaching my kids about sex, but having age-appropriate things about signs of sexual abuse is something I just think conservatives should embrace and not be afraid of. So I will be passionate about those issues as well too. I'm on Child Help, big national organization. I'm on their state advisory board along with Bill Montgomery and Sheriff Joe and Doug Ducey and some others. So those will, and I mean, I'm passionate about it, but my wife's, it's what she does, pretty much volunteers all day long and writes emails and does that kind of thing for that, so I won't get away with not being passionate about it even if I wanted to. So.